Hey guys, Mr. Angel back with another video. I'm covering none other than the Boston Bruins. And you say, why haven't we been doing like other teams? But like one of my subscribers or friends have reached out to me and said, maybe, try a Boston Bruins video. I haven't actually made one. So we're going to talk about the Boston goalie situation. And their goalie situation is very, very, to say the least, confusing. Elliot Friedman put out a tweet, and shout out to Sportskeeda for like putting this into a nice thing from Twitter. But Elliot Freeman tweeted that the Boston's GM, Don Sweeney, said that he hasn't gotten a contract done with Jeremy Swayman. And the reason why he hasn't gotten a contract done with Jeremy Swayman yet is because training camp, most teams' training camps have started today. And the deadline for Swayman to sign a contract is December 1st. The deadline to sign a contract is December 1st. And before we get into this meat and potatoes of this crazy deal, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe down below for more NHL hockey content. Let's get into this. We have an interesting article from NHL News themselves. I know they don't put out the best news, but this is a really, really good information stacked news site. First, we're going to talk about how Jeremy Swayman has not reported to the Boston Bruins until the RFA, which means unrestricted free agent, has not gotten a new contract yet. He has waited, and he has just come off a 1-year, $3.475 million contract. And the question is, they're starting to disagree a lot. My thoughts is that in that room, you're going to see multiple different, you're going to see his agent trying to get the most money possible. You're going to see different kinds of, tension between the two. And it's just going to be a lot of a hassle for the Boston Bruins. And just for Jeremy Swayman himself, it's difficult for him to, try to play his best whenever he can play his best. And Jeremy Swayman just has like an overall time where he needs to get a contract. And we're going to talk about what contracts he's going to get a bit later. But let's talk about what goalies the Boston Bruins do have left. The goalies they have right now that are actually signed is Brandon Bussi and Michael DiPetrio. I probably butchered those names, and Jonas Korpisalo. But basically, as you know, the Boston Bruins usually have a very sturdy roster of goalies. They used to have one of the best goalie tandems in the NHL. And right now, if they were to go on to this next season, their starting goalie is a usual AHL to ECHL goalie. If they were going to choose a backup, they also have Michael DiPetrio on here as well. His normal save percentage, he's played one game for the Boston Bruins, which is only one game of NHL experience. Yeah, you can see his notes and transactions. He was traded to Boston by Vancouver, and he got the first star team in the OHL. This is actually some crazy stuff that he's achieved for his goalie type guy, but I don't think he's actually fit. Meanwhile, we have Jonas Korpisalo. He was involved in a deal with the deal with the Boston Bruins. They trade. Ottawa got Linus Ullmark for Jonas Korpisalo and I think a couple draft picks or some players. And in my opinion, he'd probably be the starting goalie if Swayman doesn't sign. And if Swayman doesn't sign, you have a really weak kind of goalie tandem, and you went from the best one to the worst one. One of the worst, actually. But he's still performing really well he's still playing really well for, someone on such a bad team like that. but we gotta see how he performs on a team like the Boston Bruins. I'm still very worried how these goalies will hold up if Jeremy Swayman doesn't sign, and you only have Yodas Corpuzal and a couple of AHL goalies. We're talking about Swayman's contract, and as I talk, I'll probably just put an article in the background. And this is kind of probably gonna say similar things, like I said in the start of the video. But what are my contract thoughts for Jeremy Swayman? Jeremy Swayman still hasn't signed, which means he won't go into training camp yet, which means that basically the entire thing, with Jeremy Swayman not having the contract yet, the question is, what is he going to sign for? And here's a website from Puckpedia themselves. His previous cap hit was $3.475 million for 1 year. He's now an RFA and he's 25 years old. I think if Jeremy Swayman actually does sign, he's gonna ask for more money. We saw a little bit of contract raises in goalies in the NHL, and we gotta base it off against that. Jeremy Swayman should get $7 million. Right now, the goalies are getting paid. We saw Ilya Sorokin right now with a 8.2 million dollar contract basically. Hellebuck with an $8.5 million contract, and Vasilevsky with a $9.5 million contract. I'm thinking we're gonna see. Because as you can look at the spreadsheet here, there's a lot of different signings. I think Jeremy Swayman will sign. This is my take. Jeremy Swayman will sign for 2 years with an $8 million AAV. He is not as good as Ilya Sorokin, in my opinion, even though he's a fantastic goalie. I think he's going to hit at $8 million for 2 years with a $16 million AAV. And the question for the Boston Bruins themselves is, can they actually afford it? We'll have to see. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely rest of your day.